So let's get going. All right. let me break out the stars of the show right here. Look how nice and neat they fit. There's two versions of this. Okay, as I bring it around, Chris, pan in here. These are the two versions of the energy sets. Okay, so we've had a bunch of 18-volt batteries over the years. We have 4 O's now, 4 amp hour. I'll go into that in a minute. We have the 5 amp hour. We had the 6.2. We had the 5.2. So we're going to go over what comes in these energy sets. There's 2 of them. There's a 4.0 and a 5.0. But they have something in there that I've been waiting for. And I know a lot of you guys out there have been waiting for this. Okay, and here is, isn't that nice? Isn't that something? Look at that! Unbelievable. Wow. Okay, let me get to the bottom one, Chris. Come on, come in here. Look. Oh, yeah, I got to be quicker than that. Okay, here's the star of the show. This is the 5.0 one. It comes with 2 batteries, but it also comes with this, and I'm going to pop it out. It is the Duo, the TCL6 Duo. Hang on one second. Chris, stay right there. I'm going to grab something over here. It's 2 of these. Okay, the original energy set, and if you have one, look, see how that fit in there? This insert was also designed for Duo, so you can go and get a Duo and have a double charger. If you remember in former episodes of Festool Live, you heard me call out that TCL6 will charge your battery in 32 minutes. Okay? There's another charger that came out. I get confused, but I wanted to show you this. It's in the owner's manual, which I know you'll probably never open. Okay, but when you're talking about 4 amp hour batteries, 32, 32, and 32, all the chargers charge them in 32 minutes. So now, if you're on the job site, you can plug this in, or in the shop. Think about this. And as I go through the line of cordless today, you can have 2 batteries on here while the other 2 that you have in your arsenal are working on those tools, and in 32 minutes you have a full charge on those 4.0 batteries. It makes sense. In other words, we wanted to make sure you had 0.0 downtime when you're on that job site, and we have this rapid charger for you. That's the Duo. Whew. Now I could stop at that, because I could say, hey, in this one right here are the 4s, and you got 2 4s. But I don't want to stop at that. I want to show you why the dual charger. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out, and let's talk about some battery technology. When you look at it, it's all 18 volt, but you got to look at the numbers right here. See, 4 amp hour. I was taught this forever ago. When you look at amp hour, because I was really curious back then, what's an amp hour? Just think of it like this. It's the gas tank. It's 18 volts the torque. The gas tank is the amp hour. So a 4 amp hour versus a 5 amp hour, you'll have a bigger gas tank with the 5.0. Hopefully you'll follow that, and in the future there may be more amp hour batteries, but the gas tank is the amp hour. It holds more juice. Whew. Did that make sense to everybody? Travis nodded, so I can move on. Okay, so when I look at this battery, okay, and I have it here, and I hit the button, okay, it has 3 bars. Okay, now pay attention to this. If I take this off the charger with 3 bars, it's 100%. But if I'm running the drill for a while, or the OSC, the oscillating cutting tool, and it still says 3 bars, it could be that it's 70 to 100%. Now, when I have 2 bars, it's 40 to 70%. When I have 1 bar, it's 15 to 40%. And if I hit this and that 1 bar is blinking, it's 0 to 15%. That means get it on the daggone charger right away, okay? So that's the gas tank. It tells you how much you have in there. Wrong energy set. Actually, I'm gonna leave that out because I'm gonna use that in a few minutes. Okay, so on all our chargers and the Duo, ooh, that's the SC8. That's a little bit different. That gives me a 5-minute, 15-minute, 30, and 45-minute. That tells me where my level is. The Airstream, it pulls air through the Airstream batteries. Okay, now I'll pull out the Duo again, because a lot of people over the years have asked me this. And what I like about the Duo as well is right here in the center channel, and there's a little hook back here on it. All right, that's where I can wrap my cord. Okay, so it stores nice and neat in the sustainer. But when I look at this, when it's fully green, and see you have dual indication lights right here. Yellow means it's plugged in and ready to charge. Blinking green, when these are blinking, that means it's charging. When it is solid green, that means it's ready. It's got the full charge on there. You can also check it on your battery gauge. Okay, when it says red, solid red, and there's a little temperature thermometer there, that means it's too hot or too cold to charge. Give it a few minutes, let it cool down. You may have been really drilling a ton of holes and the battery's a little hot. It's a smart charger. And when it's blinking red, that means it may be a defaulted battery or defective. Something has happened to it. And then it says open up the owner's manual to troubleshoot it. Okay, so hopefully that helps out a little. It has some holes to mount it. You can drill it right into the wall of your trailer or whatever. And that's the charger. Emphasis, I'll say it 100 times today, 32 minutes. So each battery, boom, simultaneously, 32 minutes later, both batteries are charged. Woo! Okay, so I'm trying to think of the first tool that we'll talk about, because we started coming out with tools a few years ago that took 2 batteries. And then someone says, oh man, I can only charge 1 battery at a time. That's why the Duo came out. So if we come over here, this is the TSC 55 REB. It takes 2 batteries. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the 2nd generation. So we talked about it back then. I'll talk about it now. When you go with cordless and a bag, you have total freedom. I think I just talked about that recently in a Festool Live. So I can never do this enough. I'm going to grab 2 of the 5 amp hour batteries. I'm going to put them on there. We could talk about Bluetooth if you want later, but I'm going to put these on. Okay. And Bluetooth, 5 O's. Slide them on, wicked easy. Like this, like this. I don't have them hooked up. I'm gonna do this like this. I'm gonna check before I cut. And that's the freedom you have. You have exceptional dust extraction. Okay, you have exceptional run times with this. And it's incredible. Now this is what? Probably 3 foot long, and look at the dust we collected. And I didn't pack this earlier. Chris, are you choking a little? Yep, a little. Okay, I'm so sorry, Chris. There you go. But look at that, that's 1 rip cut. Okay, that's the freedom you get with this. You can hook it up to a dust extractor. They're Bluetooth batteries. I could show you a little bit about that as well. So let's go over here. That was our first one. Now, I can use that saw with just 1 battery. As I go through some of this today, there are some, and here's the icon that you always look at right here, okay? 2 batteries, it's fast. It's a little bit slower. The battery has to go on the bottom, and if you put it on top, it doesn't work. Okay, so this will work with 1 battery. I'm gonna skip over here because this is the one that we came out last year before. The icon shows here. Okay, it doesn't work with 1 battery. You need 2 batteries on here, and they have to be the 4 O's. All right, yeah, they don't work with the 5.2s because of the, I'll show you right here and right here. I'll slide that on. Man, just like this. Cool? The 5 O's don't fit in there. But now you have this extreme portability of the CTC Sys. Same thing. I'm going to take these off really quick so you can see it. I'm just going to come over here so I can get a little bit lower. This is the right height to sit on. Let me sit on this sustainer. I'm going to come in here, and if we look back here, I have the 5 O's, but the 4 O's will work on there, and this is our new CTC MIDI. Did I get that right? Thanks, Travis. And if you want to talk about freedom and extreme portability, one of the other saws that takes 2 batteries is right here. This just got released. This is the KSC60. This is the cordless Capex. I think I've done 2 lives on it, okay, and had it in there. Extremely well powered. I'm just gonna get rid of this because this is going in the museum. You guys know what this is? Woo! It's still around. Somebody asked me 2 weeks ago, where's the stick? Okay, this is another tool that will work with 1 battery. It takes 2. I always say, hey, use both batteries on here. But if you're in a pinch and you just have 1 battery charged, it'll work with 1 battery. It has to be on the top here. There's a little icon. Come in here, cameraman. It's right here that explains it. It's fast with 2. Oh no, it has to be on the bottom, but it doesn't work on the top. Okay? So there you go. And that always confuses me, so I'm always flipping them back and forth to see which is top, which is bottom. But I just want to explain, it will work with 1 battery. Don't just say, oh, it doesn't work. It does. Okay, next. I was going to start over here, but I'll go back over here. All right. Whoop, 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 whoop. So we have cordless drills. Remember I said in 2007 we had 2 cordless drills? They were 12 volt. We didn't do 18. Then we went to 15. Whew. We finally went to 18, okay? And boy, I'm so glad we did. Over the years, this has always been, the C format has always been my favorite. And this is a C18 original. This is funny. And you probably know this watching. We were the first power tool to go to market with a cordless drill with a brushless motor. And we kind of got laughed at. Why a brushless motor? Why this? It's because you could bring the efficiency of a battery to the motor to end up at the drill tip. So with the electronics, you could get more screws and more holes. Okay? Boy, we were laughed at. Go into any big box, any tool store, go online and look. Almost all the impacts now, almost all the drills, almost all the batteries work, saws, everything work with a brushless motor. Ooh, heaven forbid we were the first. Whoop, 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 whoop. And that was the C12. Now we have C18. Yes, we know about ergonomics. We have a T18. Yes, we have an impact that's so lightweight. It's reduced here. This is one of the most comfortable impact drivers I have ever used. And we also have at a price point a T18E. And the difference, and I wanted to call this out once again, the difference is this chuck is permanent, this is not, and this is why people love the Festool drills. All the way back to the original brushless motor tool that was 12 volt, it had this. We call it Fast Fix, this little stub here. Yes, this is called Central Tech, and we had it way back when, because this sits back in the Fast Fix stub here. Okay, so you have more efficiency, you'll get better run time, very little run out at the tip where you have it. It's not this going into a chuck. Whew. Man, anytime I can talk about Central Tech, I do. We have one for drywall, a depth setting one. We have one that's a depth setter for a lot of other things. Okay, this is a non-marring tip. We have the right angle. Boy, this has changed over the years. Now I can lock it in, and now I can turn it. Same thing with the socket, but the eccentric chuck changed last year. We're always, always, always innovating the Festool system, just like that. So that is why Festool, that is why the different chucks. I keep going on and on and on. But yeah, we just don't have one drill. We have many because guess what? On a job site, it takes many drills. Though we came out with this one. This is the TPC. It is not only a drill, it's a hammer drill. It is 4 speeds. This is the most amazing hammer drill on the market. I'm not going to go too much into it. I've done a full episode. Go check out the Festool Live. Then we have the drywall gun. Okay, the DWC-18. It's automatic. You'll see my hand's not even on the trigger. I can hold it like this, or I can use it in manual, and I can put a tip in there. So it's just not one drill. It's many drills you can use on the job site, whether you're drilling concrete, steel, a hammer drill, just concrete, drywall, or any of the other accessory, all the other Central Tech systems that fit on here. And that's all I have to say about drills. We also, this is the cordless. We have a corded version of this. This is the HKC 55, and it works for cross cutting, and you can also use it to rip, and you can also use it to plunge cut on this rail because it has 2 ribs. I'll just point that out right here. See this? This fits on the rail, and this one fits on the FSK rail. Now, some of you out there, because I've done 2 episodes on the TS60, our brand new TS plunge cut saw, but it's corded, but that also fits on the FSK rail. Because a lot of you folks were asking for that extra depth of cut, and we provided on it, and the sole of that is similar to the HK and the HKC. Whew, I don't want to leave things out. Okay, so here we go. I got one of the best slabs in town right here. But what I want to do is how I used to attack a slab, all right, for leveling. I didn't want to make there's 100 ways to, as I always say, in woodworking, to skin the cat. I could take this to my buddy Ronnie, and he could put it on his CNC, and he could level it for me, right? Because there's some undulations in there. I'll show you how to check for those. And then I could make a router jig to take my 2200 and go back and forth. And you can make those, you can buy those, okay? You can use hand planes to do it as well, all right? But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you one way I used to attack it when I didn't have a lot of undulations in it, and it was time consuming. So I'm gonna start over here because it's my favorite sander. Well, let's check the slab first. Okay, Chris, you're gonna be right here, okay? And I'm gonna get a straight edge. And if I feel this, it feels pretty flat. This way, and it is. If I take my straight edge, you can see it's flat across here. And look, I continue to come here, look, it's flat. But where the undulations are, okay, look at this. Look at there's humps here, and hopefully you can see this. I'm gonna run over here because I should have done this earlier. I'm gonna grab a sys light so we can see the light coming through. Chris, I hope I don't blind you. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna mark really quick where the highs are on this board going with the grain. So I know I have to hit it right here. I know I have to hit it right here. Okay, so that's where I'll concentrate. But I want to come over here, and I know I got a decent sized hump right here. So I'll mark my board right here. So boy, I got some pretty daggone big peaks here. So I'm going to just take my straight edge. I'm not going to do the whole thing this afternoon, but I'll just go through because I used to do this. I used to take my RO 150, and I'm not going to do 80 grit, right? I want to start with and I've taught you this over the years at Festool Live. This is the tool. Your paper is the tool. You got to choose the right machine, right? So I'm going to start with the right tool for leveling this. I'm not going to start with 80 because I really don't like the sand. I want to remove 40 grit with 60 grit, and then 80 grit, remove the 60 grit. But I want to level it first. So this used to be my go-to tool for this. I'm going to put my paper on here. What I always do is I find one hole, I find a second hole, and it lays down perfect. So find 2 holes, and I always use the outer holes here to set it up. So I'm going to take my RO. Hopefully I get it plugged in. It's plugged into the wall. All right. So I got 40 grit on there, and the right tool for this is not this random orbit mode. Okay? That's going to take too long. What I do is I put it in Rotex, and you'll hear the pin go in, and this is where I'll concentrate. Okay? And you can see it as I drag it across, because I have the hard pad. Okay? You can see the highs. This is the low. It's missing this, and this is your high. All right? So I would concentrate on here first, back and forth. Okay? Now, can you do it that way? Yes. But it would take time, and time is money. I was doing this at home, and I came in here, and we were talking about the RG130. And before I went to that trade show, I did episode 136, and I was using this wheel here, okay? Not the diamond segmented ones here, or this one here for the RG130 for mastic or thin set, but this one. And these are little diamonds in here, and they're set in a metal medium. But as I take things down, they wear down. And I started thinking about this, and I was removing paint with this wheel, remember, in episode 136, and it did a fantastic job. So I thought about that, and I thought about this. This here, if you've ever, and I used to do this as well. I used to take a belt sander and bring it across like that. And you know belt sanders go really fast, but there was something else that a belt sander, I hated about them. Control, because they can get away from you, right? Okay, and you stand a chance to gouge with it. And you have that striation pattern. Well, with this, and this is that steel hood that comes in here, okay, I can control the level. But what I like about this, okay, from 3 millimeters in depth cut to 10 millimeters, I set it about halfway. This is what I experimented with this week, and I lock it in here. The other thing that I don't care what dust extractor you put a belt sander to, okay, here in North America, is the dust extraction is not that great. Here we have, make sure we get a good look at this, everybody. We have, these are spring loaded, these bristles here, so the dust is blocked as it goes out. Okay, now, I did this over here with the Rotex. I got a major hump right here and right here. Okay, I did a little yesterday, and I was getting into it, and I went, whoa, 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 time out, man. I want to show today's Festool Live audience how this thing really cuts. So I synced it up, and you can go to episode 136, how to sync it up with Bluetooth. I synced it up already. Okay. I like this handle, the bail handle, because I can get in the right position. It's not awkward for me. And I don't have to put a lot of pressure on here. I'm just going to get this on. One of the things I will coach you on when you do this, make sure you have a good grip on everything, and make sure I always use a 36 millimeter, because this is a monster in stock removal. And you'll see right now. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you, not tell you, I'm going to show you, I have taken so much of that off already as I look at this. Okay, I got a little bit of work to do, but that came down a lot. So I'll come over here and get this hump. And what we come up with is these scratch patterns in here that are probably equal to like 16 to 24 grit. And now I can go to my Rotex once I have it leveled. And it's a process. Get it leveled first with an RG130, then do your sanding in Rotex to what? Get away the striation marks, you know, the swirl patterns in there that the grit cuts. So if you think about it, if this is probably 16 as I'm looking at it, I'll jump to 40 right away. If I need 24 grit, remember last week, we don't have 24 in granite, but we have it in sapphire. It was lost in the catalog. So then I would go to 24, and then I jump to 40. Then I would go to 60. By the way, just removing scratch patterns goes really quick. But if I have to level, and a lot of woodworkers will start with a 80 grit. And that right there I would be leveling this forever. It just takes it down super easy. Then I can come in here, I'll have 40 grit here, and then I can start. And you can see, even with 40 grit, those disappear really quick. And I don't know if we're getting this, okay? But that grain, when we look at this piece right here, it's kind of gnarly, but the grain starts to really come out on this board. Okay, so let's step over here because I want to talk about this piece over here. Chris, watch all the wires and everything. Come on back here. This piece here, okay, I did this in about 10 minutes, okay? Chris, come over here so you can see this. Look at the crown on this. Look how unbelievable that is, okay? Where I took that crown out very slightly. There's still a slight crown on that, and I would work this a little bit more, but look how aggressive that RG130 is. And you may not have a big slab to take down or fair out or level, but boy, if you have something like this. Now, I'm not going to turn it around because you remember, this is the crown. What's on the other side? A cup. So I think if I ever took this all the way down, I'd end up with like a 1/4-inch piece. Okay? Sometimes wood is not salvageable. And the other thing about this piece I wanted to walk around is I took a draw knife to this week, okay, to take or deback it, and the ultimate tool for a live edge is the RO90, and maybe in an upcoming episode we can actually use an RO90 and work on a live edge for you so you can actually see what an amazing tool that is. So I heard so much in the last 4 weeks about, hey, how does the RG130 work on wood? And I talked to a few people here and they said, yeah, go for it, do a Festool Live. I know it's one application that we did for this live. I know it's gonna be a short episode, but the reactions I got when we were out and about demonstrating this, people go, I never knew I could actually use that on wood. I thought it was just for concrete and removing thin set. Okay.